Hey everyone, I'm Mike.
I'm John.
We're father and son, and we co-own and operate North Arm Knives right here in Burnaby, British Columbia.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day today and good day to be outside, but today we're going to take you in and have a look through the shop.
Let's head on in.
We'll go upstairs later and show you the assembly and office space, but first let's start with where we make the knives. Mike and I will show you our workstations, alternate back and forth here, but first let's start with where we mill the knives and other parts. It's our Tormach CNC mill, computer guided tool. We have a corner here for it, kind of dedicated to it and things related to the actual milling. So our stock shelves, our tools for the mill, lots of different cutters, mostly all tungsten carbide. So those will cut steel, they'll cut G10, wood, and of course our other hand tools there. So on the mill we put on raw stock, so things like our G10 for the handles, they get milled into actual handles. And same with the wood, we have different fixturing that holds the different materials, in that case some dogwood. And then for steel, we start with sheets that size, and when they come off the mill they look like that. And same with sheath milling, we actually cut this Kydex plastic material on the mill as well. That's what it looks like when it comes off. So yeah, that's where the parts get shaped, and from there we take them on to the next steps.
So after milling, most of the different parts are fairly close to done, but the blades need quite a lot of work to refine the surface finish. So let's go over to the buffing station where that happens. This is basically where we take a rough blade off the mill and turn it into a shiny blade. The dust collection is very important, as John mentioned earlier. Without it, this would be a workstation would make the whole room messy very quickly. But anyway, let's show you the sort of what the rough blade looks like off the mill there. Lots of milling marks, and the blade just looks kind of gray. Whereas after it comes off, or after it's done at the buffing station, it looks like that, nice and shiny, and the milling marks are either gone or very well blended in. And we achieve that using a kind of a combination of different grits and buffing wheels. Yeah, so once we're done here, we go over to the heat treat station. And that's where we take the blades from their annealed soft state that we buy the steel in to a really nice hard state where they hold an edge well and perform the way a knife should. And basically what happens at the heat treat station is we put the knives in and heat them up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. And let them soak there for a few minutes, and then we quench them between aluminum plates to cool them rapidly, and that's what causes that sort of transformation in the steel. After that, there's a couple of tempering cycles, they're called, where the hardness is slightly reduced so that it's not as brittle, but we end up with about a 60 Rockwell or 59 Rockwell. And that's a shot there of what it looks like when the oven's up at 2,000 degrees. It's like yellow hot inside. And another workstation that I do a lot of work at is the sheath molding station. So that's where we take pieces like that, the fresh off the mill Kydex, and turn it into a sheath that's ready to put a knife into. You could see the shape, that's for our Lynx outdoor knife. And we first rivet the two pieces together here with these black brass eyelets. And our arbor press, we roll over the other end of the rivet. And then we we heat it up with the heat gun and slip a knife inside there quickly and then press it. And essentially what happens there is the sheath gets molded to the shape of the knife. We let it cool down, and then you end up with like a really nice custom molded sheath that the knife clicks into really firmly and the knife won't fall out, and it's just a really nice material to work with. We really like Kydex a lot. Yeah, and then I guess one of the next stations would be sharpening, which John is going to take you through.
After we get blades all polished up, heat treated, that sort of thing, then we have, the last thing to do is basically sharpening them. So that takes us over to our sharpening station here, which consists of our B grinder. We use a variety of different belts when we're sharpening, starting with a coarse to remove most of the material, taken up to a fine edge, and then we finish off with finer grits. So we have a tool rest, we set the angle, and do equal angle grinds on both sides so they meet in the middle. We've got a few blades here that are sitting there waiting for sharpening. That's before sharpening, all polished up. And then after sharpening, they'll have a little micro bevel on the edge there. So you can't cut yourself with these. And then those blades will go upstairs into our blade stock. So the next thing I can show you is what we call our pantry. Lots of goodies in here. The noisy things, we've got our dust collection system and our compressor, both make a lot of noise, and hit some lights here. And we got quite a good amount of storage here. It's amazing. It's a small space, but we can pack in a lot of bits and pieces in here. Just keep them out of the way. Unfortunately, no real food supply, even though it's a pantry. But no mice either. All right, so from there, why don't we now head on upstairs and look at the office. Well, actually, what we'll start with is our assembly station. So we've got our kitchen here, microwave, fridge, that sort of thing. And our assembly space is over here. So up on this shelf here, we have all our handle stock, finished handles ready to go on to blades. And over in the other corner, we have our blade stock, outdoor and kitchen knife blades. Pretty heavy. So we wrap them up to keep them safe, and when we need one, we'll pull it out. And our hardware, we got a couple of boxes of hardware here. All our handles screw onto the blades, so we take our hardware out of there, and some more for folder specific. Then we've got our shipping boxes up here, so we can basically assemble a knife and put the knife into a box. And by the time we walk out of this room, we're ready to label it. In this corner here, a nice other little workstation we didn't have before is our light box. So that allows us, we snap on some lights. I can do that here. That allows us to take product photos pretty much at the drop of a hat, and then turn it off and we're done again. So a lot happens in this room to get the knives ready to go out and support our web page and things like that. So into the offices, we've got a couple of them up here. This is where we do our CAD work and our shipping and our web design, web page updates, that sort of thing. We've got our Norfolk pine here. Back into the kitchen, table, and then lastly our display boards here and cutting board. We'll actually at markets have this all out and customers can handle knives. We have vegetables on the cutting board so they can try out the knives and get a good feel for them. Anyway, that's downstairs, that's upstairs, that's our shop. Hope you enjoyed the tour, and if you're in the Vancouver area, feel free to come by. We'd love to have you, show you the knives in person, sell you one maybe. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.